Thank you for inviting me. And I just want to acknowledge the elders in this room as well. I have only been, 13 years really practicing this. So I am a little baba. So hearing Graham and Judy, I feel very honored to be in this group of incredible healers. And I come from, or I'm sitting at Remedial land, which is a land of high timbers. So I am kind of Ryde and Northwest Denniston way. So yes, as Kate has said, this remedial massage, body therapist, what can I say? I've trained from Bosnia to London to here. So I've done a lot of modalities, and one of them that stays with me at all times is the power of touch. And the power of touch is essential to life. So even though we are talking about spine and back, I wanted to kind of talk about this primary tool that I use, which is touch. And it's a first language really developed by us of listening. So it kind of helps us beyond words, or it transcends words. So if I was to say that we have these huge amounts of receptors all around our body, on our skin, that really facilitate touch. So all aspects of our biology, our physiology, our psychology are affected really by touch. And neuroscience at the moment is really recognizing this. And they have seen that, well, actually, I could do this. If you touch your hands and arms right at this moment, and if you are able to touch your front and you're able to touch your thighs and your knees, you can also do this. You can touch the back of your head, and with the front of your hands, you can actually touch the back of your spine, but you will see how difficult it is to touch our back. There is something that science or neuroscientists talk about, that our back has got the most touch receptors than any other part of the body. Now, from evolutionary perspective, it's becoming very interesting that they're saying the reason why this is that we need another to touch us on our back rather than just do a self-touch. And they have measured, very interestingly, the way that our brain responds to being touched by the self, in a sense that it knows what's happening, and then being touched by another. So that therefore that even our receptors are kind of angled for us to be in contact with another. And that's what primarily this kind of idea and this presentation really for me is about to tell you, is that we are primed to connect. And there is actually at the moment deprivation of touch. We call it there's a touch hunger, there's a touch drought or prohibition because of what has happened in our society, that we have been told not to touch. Unfortunately, we all know, and scientists are proving now, that not to touch is for a human not to develop, and there is actually very serious consequences if we don't touch. So the power of touch and reciprocity of this, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours, there is something in that we really need to look at. Doesn't matter what modality you choose. I urge you to try and connect with somebody. I'm talking about safe touch as well, so that you feel that safety. Touch is very complex. And as Judy and Graham have said, it all depends who is your client. So it doesn't matter what modalities I know, and doesn't matter what technique I have under here and in here, until I'm with a person, I always try and focus on developing the ability to be curious about the unknown, not to search for something that's known, but actually to be in a place of presence where something that I have not seen before, or something that's not being presented before comes towards me. Touch is very, what's the word that I wrote? Reciprocal. You know, you have to be touched and touch. And it's a great safety in that you have to be connected with somebody in this sensory way and sensory fibers. So, okay, one of the easiest little tricks, I don't think there are any really tricks. You can't bypass touch. You can't just do it yourself. You have to connect. But I would say, if you haven't squatted around the fire, squat around the fire. If you can't squat, hold on to your banister at home or leg of your table and try and squat. My people and people that I've been around squat around a fire a lot, whether they're age 3 or 95. And it's very interesting to see that. Walk on the land. The way you walk on the land and the way you walk with the land is the way you have a connection with your body. Your spine is your landscape, really. So the way you treat your landscape is the way you treat your spine. It's something that is within you. It is the way you are presented in the world. I would also say lay on your back. Lay on your back in the river, in an ocean, on the sand and soil, on your wooden floors, on concrete floors. Lean onto tiles, on corners of your entrance at home. Let the spine be another limb, not an extension of something, but treat it as another limb, a riverbank. You know, let your spine be a ravine where you get your knowledge. And also, it's a pathway to connection. It's the way I think of us learning how to listen who we are. So yeah, it's an interesting and big subject matter. So I primarily use my hands, and I am influenced by my art background. So I have studied other modalities within arts systems, so from Feldenkrais method to body-mind centering. So there's a lot of influence that I bring together to create a kind of connection with each other. I do come from a trauma background, so I've hurt my back, and I've developed a way of learning how to connect to myself, to the community that I live with, to be able to also heal. So it's come from that end. Yeah, let's see what you have as questions. Hopefully there's going to be more questions, and yeah, that's all really.